Be reading an excerpt from We Are Not One by George Packer, which describes the actions of Selva, a young girl, through the perspective of her father, Rustin. This story takes place in a dystopian future where students can take exams that decide their lives. A high score means they can undertake respectable jobs. A low score deems them an excess burgher, a doomed social outcast. I chose We Are Not One because I resonate with Selva, who grapples with the reality of this dystopian future. I feel Selva's frustration as she wonders why, if her father's love is contingent on her academic performance, and so I choose to embody her and all the feelings that encapsulate. The ground was undulating under Rustin's feet, the tavern awning about to collapse on his head, the gallows the only fixed thing in sight. He had seen enough. As he turned to go, a girl began to mount the scaffold. She wore the same clothes as the guardians, with a bag slung over her shoulder and goggles dangling from her neck. Found you, was his first thought, and then, she's going to replace a guardian. That's how it works. Short shifts. He watched his daughter come out onto the platform. She took her place between the two girls and planted her feet apart. No! He must have said it aloud, because the couple under the umbrella turned around. Shh! His neck was tingling. His knees barely held him upright. Do you want to leave this world? The guardian asked. No! This time a silent cry. He would run to catch her legs before the rope went out, but she would be just out of reach, her head listing forward in the chokehold of the noose. Possibly, Selva said. What do you want to say to your— Listen, Papa, Selva said before the guardian could finish. The other night, you asked why I'm angry. As usual, I didn't think of an answer fast enough. Well, here's my answer, Papa. Because you believe the world could never be better or worse than the one that you gave me, and that breaks my heart. A rumble of approval from the crowd. This one's good, the woman under the umbrella said to the man. That's my girl up there, Rustin wanted to tell her, our pride and joy. The world was worse than you ever knew, Papa. Remember the exams? I had to place from the top 5%. Selva went on from the gallows, not just to qualify for provincials and have a shot at Imperial Medical College, but for you to still love me. Someone in the crowd loudly booed. Selva, no, not true. I didn't look at you because I was afraid I'd see it in your eyes. Being your daughter, I did what I had to do. As always, the results had been announced in the main square 2 days after the last exam, with practically the entire city in attendance. Out of 179 children, Selva Rustin was third. Her father thought. We sat around the kitchen table and sang our favorite songs. You pretended Zeus was your patient. Was the world so bad? The next day, the boy who sat beside me in class wasn't there, Selva continued. We all knew why. He was down around 170. Ivor was an excess burgher. Do you remember what you said that night? The tremble in Selva's voice was thickening. She was coming to her purpose. I told you about Ivor, and you said, that's just the way it has to be, Sel. She had come home from school troubled, and he'd wanted to comfort her. He hadn't wanted poor Ivor's fate to take away from her magnificent achievement. She hadn't replied, but a cloud had passed over her face. That's just the way it has to be. Selva raised her chin, causing the length of rope above the noose to go slightly slack. Why? She cried. Why was that just the way it has to be? Why in the world would you ever think that's just the way it has to be? More approval from her audience. Shouts of, why? Why? Here's what you should have said, Papa. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but our whole life is a stinking pile of shit. That's how it is. We live on it, we eat it, we fuck on it, we'll be buried in it. But I love you, so let's just not talk about it anymore. That's my girl, he thought again. But also, it wasn't just me. Everyone believed it. In the old days, beggars were drawn and quartered in that square. It sounds terrible now, but 4 months ago, ex-burghers were normal. You'd be surprised what people can get used to. If you'd said that, it would have helped me. But you didn't have the courage. Selva dropped her chin and lowered her voice. So I kept going. I started cramming for provincials. My dream was to reach the imperial round. Instead, we had an emergency. A cheer rose half-heartedly. They weren't so sure where she was headed. That was the end of exams. To be honest, it felt like the end of me. I actually, literally, didn't know who I was. Without the next round, why get up in the morning? She gave a hollow laugh. Then together came with the 6 principals. Suddenly, people seemed happier. They started talking louder and laughing, even with strangers. The rules of good development came from the empire, from on high, but together was our own creation. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. I'll join a self-organization committee. Even Ivor's in one. I'll be the best damn together girl in the city. Someone laughed too loud. Rustin knew from the tremolo in Selva's voice that things were going wrong. Except together wasn't about that. It was the opposite of that. I am no better, and neither are you. That's the second principle. Selva brought her hands to her forehead and squeezed her eyes shut as if a massive headache had just gone on. So, here I am. I don't have the right principles. I don't have the right thoughts. I keep thinking things I don't want to think. They go round and around and I can't make them stop. I can't stop being your girl. The woman punched the air with her umbrella. Oh my God, she's great. She stood there in the grip of unuttered answers that would have defeated their philosophy, and Selva Rustin removed the noose from her own neck, descending the ladder into a swarm of cheers, with failure in her eyes. Thank you.